Hello there, my name is Pavlo Shterma, and now we'll unveil the top news of recent days. Ukraine has entered another wartime winter. We are aware of seasonal changes and have experience in responding to them. We withstood back then, we must withstand now. Russia seeks to turn cold and darkness into a weapon against Ukrainians, which is why it targets critical infrastructure, trying to make the lives of millions of people unbearable. This winter, Ukraine is better equipped to repel the attacks of the aggressor, thanks to the serious strengthening of air defense and the decentralization of life support systems. The aggressor also learned to attack more effectively and made conclusions from the failures of last year's winter campaign of terror, mostly using of drones during November and early December, missiles while being saved. But we know that the first serious cold Russia will use for an attack on our energy infrastructure.
Це важливо, щоб кожен залишався.
It is important that everyone remains committed to the common cause. It is important that every week one can say, I have contributed something on my own to the common defense. It is important that the concrete actions of millions of Ukrainians every day, every week, further strengthen the Ukrainian force. Together we can overcome everything. And please, do not forget to pay attention to air raid alerts, especially these days. Do not neglect it.
Ukraine is grateful to its partners for their support and counts on additional supplies of air defense systems, power equipment compatible with the energy network of Ukraine. We hope for direct power supply in case of significant damage by the enemy to the Ukrainian power grid. On Saturday night, another blackout occurred at the temporarily occupied Zaporizhia ZNPP. In the morning, Ukrainian company Ukrenergo resumed the operation of the high-voltage line to power the plant. This is already the 8th blackout and the first complete external power outage of the ZNPP since May 22nd. The Russian administration is unable to ensure the safety of technological processes at the ZNPP. Every day in the occupation increases the risks of an accident. Moreover, under the control of the Russian occupiers, the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant does not produce electricity, so is used only for blackmail, not as a necessity. And at the same time, emergencies occur regularly at the plant, so a serious accident is only a matter of time. The Russians are blocking the access of International Atomic Energy Agency representatives to a number of facilities at the power plant to hide their negligence and use of the station for military purposes. Only thanks to Ukrainian power engineers who provide power supply to the ZNPP using the energy system of Ukraine and occasionally restore damaged lines, it is possible to maintain the safety of the nuclear facility. The actions of the Russian personnel at the ZNPP are completely incompetent. I'll remind you that 2 weeks ago an emergency leak of reagents from the first circuit to the second circuit occurred at power unit number 5. The occupiers violated the normal mode of operation of the ZNPP, which was provided by Ukrainian personnel. The interference of the Russians in the operation of the Zaporizhia power plant can lead to the loss of the integrity of the steam generator tubes and even to a large-scale emergency situation.
We understand that the occupationists are not interested in safety at the ZNPP. For almost 2 years of occupation, they did not manage to build an ordinary auxiliary boiler for steam generation, which exists at any other nuclear plant. Instead, contrary to the norms and rules of the nuclear and radiation safety, they continued to keep the ZNPP Power Unit 4 in a hot shutdown state, operating the reactor plant and complex energy facility in the beyond designed mode of a usual boiler for steam generation. We understand that they will continue to create a dangerous situation by blackmailing the whole world with a nuclear radiation accident. Petro Kotin, president of Energoatom.
To solve the problem of Zaporizhia nuclear power plant safety, it is necessary to deoccupy the plant and the surrounding area and deprive Russia of the opportunity to attack the nuclear power plant or organize sabotage on it. The Russians irresponsibly use Europe's largest nuclear power plant for blackmail of Ukraine and the world. Russian occupiers killed 2 Ukrainian soldiers who surrendered due to lack of ammunition. The crime was recorded on video and confirmed by the Ukrainian side. The Russian occupiers once again violated the laws and customs of war by insidiously shooting unarmed soldiers. The Ukrainian military carried out the necessary steps which indicated the intention to surrender. They had no weapons and posed no threat to the Russians, who started shooting at them. Such cases as this clearly demonstrates the Russian lies about the civilized treatment of prisoners of war. And how can we not mention the story of the murder of prisoners of Azovstal in Olenivka, or the execution of Alexander Matsievsky? Russians repeatedly commit crimes against prisoners. Moreover, Russia deliberately blocks new exchanges of prisoners. Thus, the Kremlin is trying to provoke Ukrainians, tired of waiting for the return of their relatives from Russian captivity, to protest. Ukraine will gladly get rid of thousands of captured Russian invaders because their number requires building more and more detention facilities. However, Moscow is in no hurry to take them back. Exchange negotiations are always difficult and not public because excessive hype can neutralize all efforts in this delicate matter. Work on the release of prisoners from captivity continues uninterruptedly.
The Russian Federation continues to violate all norms of international humanitarian law. It cynically uses the topic of prisoners for psyops against Ukrainian society to influence one of the most vulnerable categories, the families of prisoners and missing persons. Ukraine has not stopped and will not stop trying to return our soldiers under no circumstances, as it was before. And Russia's brutal game shows that it is not concerned about the fate of a large number of Russian prisoners of war captured on foreign soil. Dmitro Lubinets, the Ukrainian Parliament Commissioner for Human Rights, on Telegram.
But the last case testifies to the insidiousness of the calls of enemy propaganda to Ukrainian servicemen for surrender. Ukraine officially appealed to the UN and the Red Cross on the fact of Russia's war crime. For its part, Ukraine strictly adheres to the norms of international humanitarian law regarding prisoners of war. Ukrainians, unlike Russian monsters, do not kill unarmed people. That concludes our today's video. Thank you for watching and stay updated. Subscribe to our UATV English channel for more news from Ukraine. Your support really matters. Goodbye.